Hello everyone and welcome to the Roll2Pose podcast, your domain for dorkdom. Today we talk about many important things such as Michelle Obama refusing to wear a veil in the Middle East. There's a huge storm on the East Coast and Brooke Shield goes to the dentist. My name's Scruffy MC.
Oh, Ibby.
The Power Nerd.
Lunchbox.
Bearded Fury.
And we also have a guest star with us tonight.
The Monger.
A.K.A. Zach, our good buddy Zach's here.
Yay! And, sorry, I didn't expect that kind of reaction from Zach, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get rolling. Alright, first things first.
X-Men TV show. What the French, Toast?
Well, Fox is trying to get all up on that Marvel rights again.
With their death grip.
So there's with Avengers taking Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, you know, they're just basically trying to beat the X-Men into the ground until, you know,
until they stop doing it, which is going to be never because they're cockasses and they already fucked it up once.
Yeah. We don't need any more of that nonsense.
Nobody can beat the X-Men into the ground except for
Fox.
Yeah, except for Fox.
They've already done it.
The worst.
If you're talking about like supreme supervillains, I think that Fox is up there.
Yeah, well, yeah, they canceled Firefly.
Yeah, they did.
The Foxalypse.
But with that being said, Marvel's also coming out with its own style of the New 52 reboot in the comic books.
Word.
So be looking for that in September. It's going to be starting with the Secret Wars. So basically, it's gonna reboot the entire Marvel universe. So that way, they're just trying to go more mainstream about it.
So would that be Captain America then?
They haven't. I've seen a few titles out there, but not too many yet.
Okay.
But they're still in the works and putting it together. So there should be more to come here in the next few months.
The way I looked at this was instead of them trying to, you know, reboot everything so everything's new, it's just they're trying to consolidate everything into one timeline.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think about X-Men, Spider-Man, you know, they all have like 5 or 6 spin-offs. This way they're trying to do one timeline for everything.
Exactly. And trying to bring in new readers, and for the new readers, they can have something to follow instead of catching up.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Series.
That's the reason I actually agree with it, is the movies brought in a ton of new readers. And, you know, I've even had people come up to me and be like, where do I start? And I was like, well, you got to go back like 15, 20 years, and you got to read this timeline, and then it branches off into this one, but you can skip a few here, and then it goes back to this timeline. Now you can just be like, here, go read issue number whatever of
issue number 1, yeah.
Or you could just do what I do and tell them, go on Wikipedia, and then just pick up the newest issue.
Even that doesn't
read
work
the story
anymore,
off of Wikipedia.
That's true. Hey, man.
No, it's great, though, because, I mean, like, there's a whole new generation of comic book readers. I mean, they could go back and read the last 30, 50, 90 years of comics.
Yeah. This Marvel universe has been going for 50 years, so I think it's time for something new. But, I mean, it's just like with DC. I mean, they had Flashpoint, which was the Flash, you know, that restarted the new 52.
Right.
So, I mean, so I'm excited to see where they're going to go in this direction.
I'm for it.
I'm for it, young chap.
I just recently watched my first episode of the TV series of The Flash.
What do you think?
I did not really like it.
What? Why?
You're in the wrong place, brother.
Get out.
I think it's just because I'm biased, and all I was doing was trying to be as critical as possible.
Only one episode?
Because just because I'm not really a fan of the Flash as a hero. So I think it's just my own fault. I didn't give it a chance.
My own fault.
Oh, okay,
And that,
David, just
and
remember,
that was our guest star, Zach. He'll be leaving now.
everybody, you got to remember, Zach comes from a heavy Marvel household. Very heavy Marvel household. You've seen the comic books in his dad's house.
I have.
So you got to remember, I mean, the Flash, DC.
I'm not even that big of a DC fan, and I liked it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've
The show or Flash in general?
I've only, well, kind of both, but I've only seen one episode of the show, and I already liked where it was going.
yeah. I mean, I've only recently gotten into DC within the past year or so, like heavy. So I mean, I think the show is great. Gotham has gotten better, but there's still more in that.
Are you still watching
do.
Gotham?
I haven't watched the new episode yet,
Okay.
so that'll be coming up this weekend.
Because I know we all like got to a point where we watched like 3 or 4
We watched,
episodes, and we're
like,
just
4
like,
episodes.
eh.
No way.
You got that far? I got the
I don't even-
after the 1st
I'd
one. I was like,
rather
no.
watch Rice Cook.
I think they could do it better. It's the people who made the show.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
still
bad.
haven't made their stride completely, in my opinion.
And yet Firefly got canceled half a season in.
Right?
great
Oh.
idea.
That's how I feel about it.
Hey, how long can you be butthurt about Firefly?
The rest
as
of my
long as
life.
I need to be.
Yeah, I will be butthurt about that until the day I die. And if I have children, they will continue to be butthurt in my place.
Pass
They
it
will
on.
carry that torch for the rest of time.
Okay, well then
Yeah,
let me
butthurt.
ask you this. So, you're not a huge DC fan, so I want to see how critical you are of this. So, Jason Momoa, the guy who's going to be playing Aquaman, is not going to be blonde, which is the new thing out there right now.
Wait, blonde is new?
Well, I've never really been a huge fan of Aquaman either, but I guess like it really shouldn't matter. But he's always been blonde. He's always been blonde in every comic
Exactly.
book.
But now
know,
he's
it-
going to be a beautiful
But
brunette.
you don't know. Maybe
It's kind of like the shock with James Bond when they made the blonde Bond. Everybody went crazy, but he was still all right. It wasn't that bad of a movie.
I liked him as Bond.
If the actor can pull it off, I'll be impressed. But
Blonde
I'll be
Bond.
upset because he's not blonde.
As long as he has a bitchin' beard, I don't care.
Well,
Did Aquaman?
he
Aquaman
will.
never had a
It's
beard
gonna be,
before this.
what?
Like, not until recently, at least.
Yeah, when did Aquaman get so big?
Yeah, he was shaved.
Yes, I don't care. Have you
Aquaman
seen
needs
the
a
new
beard.
Aquaman? He has a badass beard.
Do
I'm
you
pretty
guys
sure
know who he
beards
is?
slow you down
Wait,
when you
you
swim.
should tell.
Not when you're Aquaman.
You should tell
That
them
is not
who-
hydrodynamic.
You gotta tell them who Aquaman is. Who will be the new Aquaman? He doesn't know.
Khal Drogo
Khal Drogo.
from
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Gamatrons.
Is going to be Aquaman?
Yeah.
They might make him blonde. You never know.
Really big.
They won't.
Well, they're saying that they're not right now. He's going to be a beautiful brunette, like I
It's-
said earlier.
It's still weird for
He
me
is beautiful.
hearing that everybody knows him as a character for Game of Thrones because I always knew him as Ronan from Stargate Atlantis.
That's true too.
Oh,
Oh my
really?
god, is
Yeah.
that who that is?
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones was not his first thing. He's been in a ton of shit before that.
But dude, I suck at actors. Like,
Yeah, he really
I was
sucks.
like,
He's kind of
hey,
hard
Stephanie.
to miss though. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
we were browsing Netflix the other night, and I was just like, Stephanie, you should watch this movie called Equilibrium. It's really good. It's got like Keanu Reeves and somebody
Yeah,
in
he's
it.
like, Keanu Reeves is in it. I was like, that is not Keanu Reeves.
Equilibrium
That's
is a good movie.
Still a
It's really
great
good.
movie on its
I was
own.
like,
though.
oh yeah, that's
Yes.
Christian Bale. It's
I was
just
like, that is Christian Bale. How dare you?
and then like half an hour into the movie, like, oh, I didn't know that Boromir was in this. I'm really bad at actors and pop culture.
Still one of the only movies to this day that will almost make me cry.
It's really good.
Equilibrium?
Yeah, it's when he almost shoots the dog.
Bitch.
I know the puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part's sad.
Cutest dog ever, and he's like, well, I'm gonna have to shoot this dog now. And it's like, no, dogs are
And then
cool.
he does the
People
old
suck.
yeller thing, like, go, just go on, kid. And he doesn't move. It's
Oh,
just like,
thanks for
damn
spoiling that for me, Steph. I didn't finish the book yet. Shit.
It. Damn it, I'm so good at
You've never
spoiling
read Old
things.
Yeller?
No, I'm not gonna have it. Finish the book.
Wait,
Ruiners.
are you-
Spoiler
wait,
alert.
Are you being serious?
No.
Oh my
I think
that to
everybody
me.
picked up on that.
Stephanie has a stigma. We went and saw the recent Hunger Games movie, the part 1 of 2 of the...
Mockingjay.
Yeah. And just hanging out with her friend, just like, oh yeah, man, every time I blah, 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 like, it makes me
said,
sad.
Every time I see...
Don't ruin it for the rest of the audience.
If you haven't read that book, you're...
No, but
Far
she totally
behind.
gave something away to her friend, and her friend's just like, yeah. She's like, what? I was like, Stephanie, not everybody has read the books. And she's like, of course everybody's read the books. And her coworker was just like, Chastity was just like, you just ruined that for me.
No. Specifically, she said, you know I don't read.
Like most people, that's why we're doing this instead of having a blog.
The whole theater looked at
Oh,
us.
could you imagine this working as a blog? We get like 2 hits. I know like 3 people that read recreationally.
What you trying to read?
No one else reads.
You know I don't read.
3 hits, that's like half of our current audience.
Let's see, 3 hits, that'd be, what, me, and then 2 people that actually listen to us.
Yeah.
No, not even.
Not even. So it'd probably just be me checking on it 3 times.
Hey, I read. Obviously.
Okay, so me checking on it again.
And then you'd spoil the pot or spoil the blog somehow.
I would just give it all away.
Way to
No,
go.
my friend had only seen the Harry Potter movies, so she knew that Dumbledore dies. But remember, and
He
then,
dies?
Shut up! And then she was reading the last, or like second to last book or whatever, and I was just like, oh man, poor Dumbledore. Or I said I missed Dumbledore, and she's like, oh, I didn't know he dies, and I thought she was serious. I was like, no.
Spoilers are the worst. I read every single Harry Potter book, and it got to that book where Dumbledore dies. And frickin', do you guys remember, Zwicky?
Adam Zawicki.
Adam Zawicki, yeah. I'm just reading it in class one day, and I'm just like ignoring the internet. I'm ignoring everybody I know because I'm trying to read this book because I know there's a spoiler. Because everybody knows when that book came out, the spoiler was the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not even on the internet because I'm going to read this book, and I'm reading it in class. And Adam Zawicki like creeps up behind me, like really close next to my ear, and he's just like, Dumbledore dies. And I shut the book, and I didn't read another Harry Potter book for like 3 years.
Did he give you a page number?
Huh? No.
Okay, because
That would've been good.
I might have been responsible for that. When the book came out, I went online and found out what page number he died on, and then in the commons the next morning I started telling people. Like, not people that read the book, but just people that I knew who had friends that read the book, and I was like, if you know anybody that reads Harry Potter, Dumbledore dies on page whatever, tell them.
You're the kind of people I
You're the
hate.
worst. You're going to hell.
I love you. High five.
and
Because
you
I hate
wonder-
Harry Potter.
And you wonder why we
Okay,
didn't hang
hold
out
on
in
a
high
second.
school.
Everybody else fucking says something about something else and says, oh yeah, you're a spoiler. And then it's like, high five, you're a spoiler, you're the best, you're the best fucking spoiler
Okay,
ever.
to
As
be
soon as
fair-
I do it, you guys get fucking mad at me.
Okay, here's the difference. I did this once in high school with one thing. You have done this with Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones,
I
and
have
one
not
other
seen
show.
all of Breaking Bad.
You have spoiled
to
everything
be
that
fair,
you've seen.
Jesse will go into full-on detail, like he's written a book.
Yeah,
like,
I
he's
know.
just like,
You
and
will
then-
blurt
and then
out
he
a
turns
spoiler.
the key
You'll
and walks
ruin
in,
the
and you're just
whole
like,
episode.
holy shit.
So I was going to tell you, but 2 podcasts ago, just like I've already played Far Cry 4. Like, I know all 3 endings now. I don't need to play that game. I should have stopped you.
You should have stopped me. I
should
said
have
I
stopped
won't
you.
spoil
You're
it for
really good at
anybody. And you said,
describing
oh,
things.
never mind.
Yeah, you're a really good storyteller.
That's great.
Well, thank you for saving me $60, but at the same time,
It's worth the ride, goddammit. Anyways.
not when you know how it ends.
I played Far Cry 3. I think I know how the ride goes.
Yeah, I can
I
kind
got
of
my
piece it
arm
together.
full of tattoos.
Oh, good lord.
Honey badgers. On to the next.
So, Alex, you wanted to talk about Venture Brothers last week,
Oh yeah, I did. Well,
but
I
you were
did.
drunk.
Well, in the pre-podcast that we recorded, the half an hour before Stephanie passed out from fart fumes, I did talk about it. It was really, 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 really good.
Was it the episode where they were on the space station?
Yeah, Gargantua 2. It was
Gargantua 2?
a really
Four
good way
reels.
to kickstart the 6th season was just Jonas Venture Jr. inviting pretty much every person to see Gargantua 2.
I watched that episode, actually.
And
I
even the
watched it
people-
the other night.
Even the people
It's
who
funny,
weren't
'cause you
invited
hate
was
that
the
show
rest of the
I don't
cast.
hate
Yeah.
the show, I just never got into it.
So everybody is there. Like everybody is there.
Yeah,
I don't think they missed
everybody
anybody
was.
out.
Yeah, everybody
great.
was in that episode.
No, White wasn't there.
That's right.
What's that supposed to mean?
What role does White really have?
He hangs out with the little guy.
Yeah, but the little guy was there, so he wasn't.
was.
He didn't
And his
need
mom.
Wait a minute, wait.
And his mom.
His mom was there.
So Billy Quizboy was there,
Yeah.
but White wasn't.
No.
Billy Quizboy is a
Where
doctor.
is White?
That's true.
Where is White?
He lives in a trailer.
He's down on the planet Earth because he didn't get invited to the party because he is an
He's
ex-game show
albino.
host. But yeah, if anybody's a fan of the Venture Brothers, I know most of us here are. It's I don't know. I just can't describe it without giving anything away.
Yeah.
Can
I saw
I
the
say
episode.
one thing?
Yeah.
I really like that they kind of had the dad and him bond a little bit. Because he's been such a whiner for so long. And then, like,
The
they,
dad
like,
and him?
fix the space station.
Oh,
Or,
and
sorry.
Dean?
Yeah,
Oh,
Dean.
Dean and
Dean and Dr.
Dean and
Venture.
Dr.
Just
Venture.
like,
That was
Oh, so they
Yeah.
actually
That
do
was
go
really
into that
sweet.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like tying like the character arc that is father and son. It was nice.
Yeah.
But
I
there's
like
so
That's
many.
good to know.
But there's so many character arcs that they tie together. Just like, I'm not gonna give anything away, but the last thing in the episode is
No.
not you. And as soon as you see it, you'll know why. That's hilarious.
That is really good.
Like I don't know, everything from the Guild of Calamitous Intent to.
Oh, I just got
All that reading you do.
Reading is easy, watching is hard. No, but it ties up a lot of like loose ends and things you wonder about, and it kind of like leaves a blank slate for the next season.
I'm
It's
excited.
pretty open.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch this when I get home.
was also not in the new episode as well.
She's not.
Who
But
was
sh-
the
but-
blonde bitch that he was with?
Oh, she was one of the newest members of the OSI.
Okay.
She was.
Because I thought she was her for a second, but she's not.
She was actually dating a guy who was supposed to be a sniper, but then
And then he went crazy.
Brock
and-
brought her away because that's how he works. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's a lady. Well, my turn."
It's Brock.
Brock Simpson.
Brock Simpson is my hero.
If you guys didn't know, my roommate recently got me Venture Brothers bed sheets, so I get to go to bed with Brock Sampson every night.
Nice. No way.
You got bed sheets finally?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Wow, way to
I
take that to a whole new level.
Right? The reason it's so funny is because it's
I used to
True.
sleep on his bed a lot. He's not in it.
Yeah, I'm in it all the time.
Yeah, he's just like jammed down to the bottom corner. You just don't
Like
notice.
a puppy.
Like a dog.
me and you fall asleep, and then he just comes and cuddles with us, and then he just wakes up and leaves right before we wake up.
Zach has a superpower. He can sleep anywhere. He fell asleep in the kitchen on the ground with a sheet.
He's
Not
asleep
even
right
a
now.
pillow.
Sleep on the island in his old house.
Wait, that's a superpower?
Yes.
Hey, Zach, apparently we need to start a guild of superheroes that can sleep wherever.
It's called sloth or something.
The Guild of Sloth
Super
and
Legion
Tent.
of the.
Bed-
That was a sleeping noise.
the Super Legion of Bedtime Avengers.
No, and then that same
Slap
night.
Av.
No, that same night.
So wait, does
all
that
of a
mean that we
sudden,
fight nightmares?
He
Yes.
came in crawling in
I like
at
this.
the bottom
You're
like a
welcome.
dog. Scared the crap out
It's
of me.
like, oh, there's people in my bed. I'll just. Never mind.
Okay, anyway.
Anyways, season 6. Is it 6 or 7?
6.
Season 6 of Venture Bros is coming out to be determined, I think, still.
Yes.
I think it's going to be sometime this year.
Now, but we were talking about this on the way over. They said that they're only going to do 7 seasons. Like, season 7 was going to be the end of it.
That's going to be the end, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, kudos.
I actually
Ending,
thought 6
uh,
was going to be the end.
I honestly thought, I didn't know that they were signed on for another contract. Throughout the entire, like, last episode, I was saying, like, this is it. This is the end of the Venture Bros. Like, this is the episode that they're going to put on that signifies the end of the show. I thought they were going to wrap it all up and it was going to be over.
They could have actually wrapped it up with season 5.
They could have.
I felt like they could have ended it with season 5 as well.
I don't know,
Contracts,
the,
man.
The way they were bringing in the master and how he was like, and then like the boys learned that they were clones. Just I don't know. Everything seemed to be coming together with the main characters, but then also at the same time, it got to a point where like the next episode, Dr. Venture just started bitching about his financial problems, and it was just like, back to super science, or else I don't get to raise my children.
So,
Gracious.
Anyways,
in other space news, you said, Zach, you said you were playing Space Engineers.
that was kind of a stretch for,
No, it wasn't. We were
Okay.
talking about the last episode of Venture Brothers, which took place in space.
And Space
Damn it.
Engineers also takes place in space.
but that's not actually like
That is
space
a good
news.
segue. Shut up, Alex.
But wait, you have to say like,
It's bulletproof.
The segue into video games now. Boom. Video games. Well, lately I've been just Well, I have Steam on my computer, so pretty much it's just a huge library for every independent game maker out there. If you make an indie game, Steam will publish you. They don't care.
Pretty much.
It's like,
Which is great. They've actually got some really good games in their indie section.
Also, at the
And
same
then
time,
they've got like Barbie Fart World.
okay. Well, when you think about
I
it,
play the
copies
shit
of
out
it.
of that.
it's like a programmer will work for a company that's like really big, like, you know, like EA or something, and they'll do great bounds of fucking programming, but then they'll go rogue and just have like a great idea and just put it out there, and it's like the greatest thing in the world. That's where I came to Space Engineers. Space Engineers is a game that I've been playing. It's basically a space creation game where you can build practically anything you could really think of in space.
Space Minecraft.
Space Minecraft, yeah. You start out as just a man or as a man in a basic vessel, and your vessel flies to the nearest asteroid, and you just explore the asteroid, what kind of minerals they have on it, like between cobalt, uranium, iron, anything. You mine these materials and you build a space station. And from there, you just continue to build things as you from reactors to the 3D printers. 3D printers are one of the main things that actually house the game. You go to your printer, you tell it like, oh, I need fins for my rocket ship, and I need thrusters as well. So it builds all your components. Then you take your components to where you want to build your ship, and you just put it together manually with like a welding torch.
Coolest thing I've seen in this game so far is I saw somebody online building a Gundam.
It's true. I've seen somebody trying to put together a transformer. It doesn't work right, but
Yeah, I was watching
Why
where
it
he's
is there.
making some really impressive steps too. Like he can get it like halfway transformed.
yeah, where like it'll be like a shape, and it almost turns into a man.
Now, does Steam cost money, or is that free?
Steam is completely free. The thing that costs money on Steam is the games. Pretty much the way it works is like, imagine you have already bought your PC, then you download Steam, turning it into a console.
Okay.
It's just like buying an Xbox or a PlayStation
And God help you when sale season rolls around.
every day.
Oh my God! No, I mean like the big sales.
The way Steam works is they have a daily sale, a weekly sale, a weekend sale, a monthly sale, and then like a holiday sale when it comes around.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know, it really does feel like the devil a lot of times, because as soon as you'll see it, it'll be like, oh, I'll buy these 5 games for $2 each. Who cares? Because the way it works is Steam can just sell any game they want. Recently, I actually just bought a horror game just because it was cheap and brand new. It was The Evil Within. I heard a lot of really good things about it, so I just started playing it. And I actually learned that, I don't know, other than like horror, it's just a horror game all in all. It doesn't really even break out from that, even with its storyline. Its characters don't really develop, and it doesn't really go anywhere.
See, you say you heard good things about this game. I've heard
Originally.
nothing but bad things about this game.
Originally, I heard nothing but good things, but I guess when I think about it, the good things came from a coworker that I shouldn't really trust. I just did because he was enthusiastic about the game, and I was like, hey, now that I think about it, we've never had a real conversation before. So let's get
See, I got to play around with it a little bit, and I actually had fun with it.
I had fun too, but like,
But I normally don't play horror games, so that might be why. The last one I really played was Resident Evil 4.
it was practically the same game.
And I think that's why I had fun with the little bit that I got to mess around with. Was it was basically Resident Evil 4 with a new story.
Think of like a Resident Evil 4 with Saw. It was just gruesome Resident Evil. That was it. That was basically the whole game.
That being said, I still had fun with it though.
I couldn't finish it. Just because it got to the point where I was just like, all right, the next part I'm going to get into is either going to be a situation where I have to run away from the murderer, or I have to do something gross that I don't want to do. And pretty much I had to dig around into like a cadaver. I had to open up his belly and like dig around in his corpse. And I was like, all right, this is really gross, not a big deal. And then he like sprung to life. I was like, okay, I saw that coming. Like, yeah, it's like I think I can make a horror game. It's kind of like a developer of like the entire company came up to the designer and he was like, all right, this is what I want. I want you to build a horror game. And he was like, all right, I could build a horror game. How would you like me to develop the characters and the environment and the story? And he's like, horror, and horror.
And the answer is like, no, don't.
And he's just like, don't answer. I've got better important things to do. You just build your game. So it was just like a compiled like mash of just blood and
guts.
and just barbed wire, and then you've got a game.
Some people like that shit though.
Yeah, like within the first what was it? Within the first 10 minutes, you're sliding down the corpse chute and you land in like a pile of like a million bodies at the bottom of it.
What in the hell?
So it's pretty much just like we want you to
It's
design
horror.
a horror like theme park.
They just tried to make the most gruesome game ever to come out. It should have come with the scratch and sniff.
This smells like corpses. This smells like corpses. These all smell like corpses.
Sliding down the chute, scratch number 4.
So what would you say is your top 5 games that you've played on Steam?
Top 5 games that I've played on Steam. Well, when I first originally got into it, I went back to the classics just because they have almost everything. So I played a little bit of Stronghold, some RTS, a little bit of Castle stuff. But as soon as I started getting into those things, they just start throwing advertisements at me of just like zombie games, creation games, the things you gotta play. But I would say like the top games that I played were probably Space Engineers, The Evil Within. I got into it a lot, but like it didn't really give me what I wanted. I don't know. It seemed like it was drawing, but it wasn't fulfilling.
That's the thing that I can agree with you on that game is it was fun, but it never really grabs you.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Nothing that makes you want to stay.
Yeah, you can just pick it up and throw it away like instantly.
That's one of those games that I can recommend if you only have like 20 or 30 minutes to play at a time. Perfect for that because it's not going to grab you more than that. You're going to get like 45 minutes in and you're like, well,
So the
fuck,
time
I got
killer.
other games that I can
So it's
play.
like
It's a good way to pass
Prostitute or
time.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Or Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, Duke Nukem Forever.
Hey,
Let's not talk
Duke
about that
Nukem
game.
Forever was fun because I could throw shit at people.
Still Duke Nukem.
I didn't know that.
Dude, it's in the first level. The
Never
first
played.
achievement I got for that game was called Turd Burglar. You go grab a turd out of the toilet. And you can spend, I swear to God, I think I spent, an hour throwing a piece of shit at people in that game.
You know what makes me
It's
mad?
amazing.
Somebody got paid 6 figures to like be part of developing that game. Anyways,
The thing that makes me mad is somebody got paid 6 figures to develop that game, and it was so bad when it came out.
Oh yeah. They spent so much time on it too. It was like
I
the
spent-
time that got me.
it was the game that never came, and when it came, it was the worst thing that ever happened to everybody who waited.
So it's kind of like when you end up jacking off for 3 hours, and when you get done, your dick just kind of dry heaves.
What the hell, dude?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Thank you, Steph.
But anyway, another really good indie game that I also played on Steam was a game called Starbound. It was basically another space kind of creation game, but it was completely 2D, like Terraria, if you've ever played that game.
Ooh,
It
I
was-
like Terraria.
Terraria was huge. Everybody loved it. Well, the same company made Starbound. It was pretty much just they took Terraria into space.
Cool.
It was. I've only been playing it recently, but it's really great. You pretty much just start out as like a renegade guy. You run away from your planet of like whatever species you come from. You can come from like I believe one of 6 different races. I picked robot because I found out that their sexes were either socket or outlet, and I thought that was great.
Which one were you?
So I picked a socket, of course. I made myself a robo lady.
everybody wants to look. Everybody wants to look at a nice socket, like from behind as you're running your character.
Her
around.
name is McMouth.
Is she part vacuum?
Mick Mouth Hoover.
My mama was a Hoover.
But the first thing that happens is you steal a ship, and your ship goes into space, and you pretty much start orbiting a planet because you run out of fuel, and your first mission is just to try to find fuel for your planet, or your ship. And so you land on this weird place you've never been. You start like chopping down trees and like exploring caves and things like that. You find that there's other denizens on the planet. I actually ran into an entire species of other robot people that were just incredibly mad at me because I was a renegade.
Wow.
And like the coolest thing about the robot people in that game was they're like they build like castles and they're like knights and stuff. So it'll be like a robot and he'll put on a suit of armor. Like it seems kind of stupid, but it's. I thought it was so interesting when you see like a suit of armor, but it's got like glowing purple eyes on the inside of
I can dig
the
that.
helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
A
cool.
robot with armor.
Yeah.
All right, I got a quick question for you since we're on the subject of PC gaming. I'm sure you already know about this game, Star Citizen.
Star Citizen.
Never mind.
I don't know. Maybe let's keep going.
They've got a Kickstarter going on. It's basically from
Oh,
what
the
I've
Kickstarter's far from over.
Yeah, because every like $1,000 they keep adding a new ship that you can buy.
Ooh.
I mean, it's far over. They just keep taking money from people.
Yeah, and they keep adding things into the game from, hey, you keep giving us money, we'll add more shit. I just wanted to know what your opinion on that was, because me and Jesse have talked about this on the podcast already, but...
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's Star Citizen, but like recently, me and my buddy Colin, we were playing Space Engineers, and like when we realized that like how like in depth that game goes, we were just like, we want a game that's a little more streamlined, a little more easy to use, one that's a little bit more like Minecraft. So we saw one. I don't think it was called that, but it was like very easy to use. It seemed, oh jeez, I wish I could remember the name. It was a lot more cartoony with the way that like the characters moved. Like it seemed a lot easier to build a ship, and they also had like boats. And when you went to a planet, it seemed just like Minecraft. Like you'd land, there'd be like stone and dirt everywhere. You'd see the rolling hills and all that stuff. When you play Space Engineer, it doesn't really seem like you find actual planets. It's mostly just huge asteroids and then jerks and huge ships.
Yeah.
Can you only get it PC?
I believe so. I believe it's only on PC.
How come Terraria I can play on Xbox?
It
Well,
just
that
depends
Terraria
on the
made?
developer. If
No.
they develop it to be played on multiple platforms, then that's just something that they
Yeah,
did.
it
But
also
who's the
depends.
guys who made Terraria? What's the space one they made?
Starbound.
Starbound.
And actually,
I'm
when
sure
I
that you can get that one.
when
for
I
the
think
console.
about it, I don't think Terraria and Starbound were exactly made by the same company, but I believe it was the same people, and all they did was just take Terraria and recode it.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why.
is this kind of like how FTL was made by the same people that did Minecraft? It's just...
Yeah, this
Yeah.
Mojang and FTL are the same, yeah.
Speaking of which, FTL, if you haven't played it, it's fucking fantastic. It's really frustrating, but...
Faster than light, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I got it for like
It's
$5. Fucking amazing game.
It's really good.
What's it on?
I heard
PC. It's super frustrating, but it's kind of like Dark Souls frustrating.
Yeah.
It pisses you off to the point where you want to
You
keep
have
playing.
to keep going.
Who doesn't want to play a game that doesn't hold your hand? I like to get through a game, and like at the end of it, when it was just like, I got through that game. I wasn't told how to get through. I made it. That's,
Yeah.
that was like
We could have the Dark
trueness of the
Souls.
game.
We could have the Dark Souls argument again, but if
I
you've
haven't-
listened to any of the previous podcasts,
I haven't played Dark Souls 2, but Dark Souls 1 really got me just because it was just the most difficult game I'd ever played.
have
and,
you
and
have you
I,
beat it yet?
I haven't. I got stuck on Seath the Dragon, and I pretty much started a new character because I was like, I don't think I could do it with this character. So I like made like a sorcerer magic guy who just cheeses every zombie I run into. Just, oh, you're dead. One hit, one hit, one hit. Who cares?
Yeah.
But as soon as I fight a boss, if I get hit, I die.
Yeah.
We could talk about Dark Souls all night. But anyways,
Yeah.
did you guys know that they're bringing out a Steam engine for consoles?
I heard that it was called the Steam Engine. It sounds like a lot of fun.
What do you mean coming out with it? It's
The
already
Steam
out.
box.
It's been out. They've been coming up with it for a long time, and I heard that like what they originally wanted for the design didn't really work out.
For what?
Well, it's not okay.
It's the Steam
So-
box. It's going to be a console you can
so
hook
Valve,
up to your TV. Right?
Valve has their own model of it, and they gave like the UI and all that stuff to a bunch of different companies so that they could make their own Steam boxes. And it's basically, if you want something that's super powerful, you can go with a different manufacturer, like Alienware. Alienware has their own Steam box. You can buy an Alienware Steam box. It's still a Steam box, but it's made by Alienware. You can get the actual Valve Steam box. It's going to be kind of cheaper than the Alienware one, obviously, because it's going to be a little less underpowered. And all this other stuff. So basically, it's not just one single console to rule them all kind of deal.
Okay.
It is, they're trying to make it streamlined so that everybody can have a Steam machine in their living room instead of having to hook up a PC to their TVs. They can just hook up a Steam box instead.
Regardless of the
I'm
company
friggin'
or
I'm
the
sold.
power.
It's stupid.
It sounds
No,
like a
don't
great
do
idea. It sounds
No,
like
I mean,
a great
like-
idea if everybody's games can be connected, because then everybody can play online. How great would it be to play?
Don't get me wrong, that'd be
any game
great.
you love with
Yeah.
anybody else?
If you're spending $600 on a Steam box, just get a PC.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't.
Yeah,
think
I was about to ask
Oh,
about the
it's that
price.
expensive?
Yeah,
Yes.
they have an introductory price from $400 to $6,000.
But nobody should buy that.
And it's only Linux based. All of the Steam machines are only Linux based, so most of the games on Steam don't even run on a Steam machine.
Okay, so never mind.
It's
I thought it was cheap.
stupid. Don't
I thought it
do
would just
it.
be-
It's a good idea, but not for what we want it for. I can
Exactly.
see the application where other people want it.
Yeah. It's great,
but it's just not for us.
It's great if you want to play Team Fortress all the time.
I mean, it's great if you...
Hats! Always hats!
Always hats!
No, seriously, like, but you can do the same thing with a really, like, well-built home PC. Yeah, of course. Like, if you were to take your PC and be able to hook it up to your TV at home, it's the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah, just hook up a PC to your
HDMI port to your TV and play the games
being
from your TV.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Like,
it's not that difficult.
Just about every game has controller support nowadays anyways.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing an MMO or
and
RTS, you should be fine.
The Steam remote is not that good.
It looks ugly.
It looks ugly, and you would think it would work because it's just 2 trackpads. It's terrible.
I've seen tech demos, dude. It looks bad.
The Steam controller?
Yes.
Yes. But anyways, getting away from PC and video games completely, actually.
We have been talking a lot about video games.
Let's go to...
Any other video game news before we start?
I want to hear about this D&D 5.0.
Okay.
God, me too.
What do you want to know?
Everything.
Everything?
What's the difference? Like, how does it compare to everybody's favorite, the 3.5?
Can we start the podcast over?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? We're only a half hour in.
I was going to say, I'm going to need more than 25 minutes for this if you want anything real in-depth.
No, I say, alright, so I think that
you...
the 5.0, like, we can get, like, a brief rundown from you, but I think that to talk about 5.0, I think we should all wait until we play the 5.0.
I think
that's actually what I was going to suggest, is before we give it a real good in-depth rundown, we need to sit down and play a session before we give a good in-depth rundown. Now, however, I have bought Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and DM's Guide.
The rules make sense.
I'm not buying the modules because I'm not lazy. I will make my own world to play in.
Well, okay,
no offense to people that buy the modules. They're fun. They're easy to... they're balanced and everything.
Hold on, though. See, my reasoning behind wanting to get the module is, I want to see it in practice first. Before I even start making my own rules for it and things like that, I want to see how the regular rules work and how I would tweak them.
Okay. I agree with you there, and occasionally in the modules they include classes and items and shit that, they don't include in the, core 3 books. So I might have to borrow those from you if you buy them, but either way...
modules work. They just do.
They're
the
really
people
good.
who make the modules are paid to make those modules.
Yeah,
They're
smart
good.
people.
Yeah.
The big thing that I took out of it was they've really streamlined a lot of things, like character creation no longer takes an hour and a half.
No, it's actually pretty simple.
You can get it done in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit down with a group of people. Granted, Zach brought up a good point when we were talking about this in the car. A group of people who already know what they're doing.
Right. Because
if you're teaching somebody new how to create a character, it's still going to take an hour.
Yeah, it's going to take forever because they just don't know.
They don't
it's
get
a
it.
lot of information to
It
absorb.
still takes me a long time to create a character, and I've played quite a few characters.
It still takes me a half hour.
I
and
made
I've
a
been
how
playing
to
since
roll a
8th grade.
character page because I was so sick of being 2 hour long for myself. Just sitting there like, wait, what? What's the skill? What do I do? So now I have a how to roll a character page. You can purchase it online. No, just kidding.
Through Amazon.
Character creation takes, 15, 20 minutes. You could be ready to go after that.
It's knowing the new rules.
They've added a new class that they brought in with 4.0. They put Warlocks in as a playable class, which is nice. They kind of fill in that gap in between wizards and sorcerers. They're kind of that halfway step of, learned talent versus, innate talent.
Mm-hmm.
They kept a couple of the races from 4.0. Dragonborn are playable from the beginning.
Yep.
Which is nice. Out of all the shit that 4.0, screwed up, they actually brought some good things in. Dragonborn was one of them.
Tieflings.
Tieflings are playable from the start. DM Guide also adds Eladrin and Asimar as playable.
Don't you guys already play as tieflings?
Yeah, we already did. Tieflings actually are a character you can play from, but it just takes another supplement from the book.
In 5.0, instead of, when you want to play an elf, instead of just choosing elf, you also get to choose where the elf comes from. So you can have wood elves, high elves,
and dwarves. You can have a hill dwarf or a mountain dwarf or an
They
under
also
dwarf.
had those as well.
But you guys already
That's the
yeah,
thing,
they
though,
have
but
those,
this is
but
all the
it's all
stuff-
in the in the it's
In
in
the
the
player's
player's
handbook,
handbook.
Yeah,
No,
those
it's
things
not.
would be those
Yeah,
things.
those are
would
in the
be-
monster manual.
Yeah, they would be in the monster manual. That's where I found
In
them.
5.0, those are in.
No, that's what I'm saying. In 5.0, it's in the player's handbook.
Yeah, so
but
it's
in
right there.
3.5, you'd
So
have
you're
to have a
saying
monster
it's
manual.
included. You
Like
have to
cause
get,
nerd
like,
drama.
There's
So,
going
where?
to be a lot of nerd rage here for a second.
3.5, you have to go up and look up all these different things you want to be.
But
where-
looking it up isn't really a big deal because they immediately tell you cannot play without these 3 base books, and one of the base books gives you all of the races you're talking about.
That's true.
Which one?
The monster manual. It has almost all of them.
does
Drow. It has
not.
3 versions of gnomes, dwarves, and elves.
As Dwergar and dwarves.
We're
It
talking
has
about
elves
Dungeons
and
and
dra-
It
Dragons
has elves and
3.5
drow
right
and
now,
high elves.
even though we said we were going to talk
And
about
high elf,
5.0.
and with gnomes, it has regular gnomes,
You
it
had
has
to
the
know this
dark
was gonna
gnomes,
happen, though.
and hill gnomes.
Anyways. No, wait, 3.5.
It does. It does. With 3.5.
Monster Manual 1.
Monster Manual 1.
I call bullshit.
I'll go get it.
Anyways.
Live bets on the podcast.
I got
But
5
anyways,
on
we're
it.
talking about 5.0.
We'll have
Not
to
in
play it.
regards
I'll
to
shut
anything else. We can bring 3.5 into it at a later point, but they have all that stuff in there, so you don't have to have the second source book. The player only needs the player handbook. The DM should have all the source books.
Actually,
That's the way it should be.
from what I've been reading, right now, I could start a game based off of the DM guide and the player's handbook.
That's all you need.
That's all I
That's
need.
all you need.
Monster manual, that's just extra.
That is extra. You don't really need it. It's just extra stuff. If you want to play an elf, play an elf. If you want to play a high elf, I'll get you a book.
But I want to be a crab man who breathes fire out of his claws.
I'll get you a book.
See, yeah.
You the right
And that's 3.5. Like, there's so many books out. No, that's why I'm excited for 5.0, though, because 3.5 is really good.
They
They've
streamlined
spent
it.
years and years and years building up 3.5 to all these different rules, but 5.0 is just starting from the beginning, and I think that's really sexy.
The biggest thing that I think they did was they acknowledged that they fucked up hardcore with 4.0.
Yeah.
And they said, look, we're keeping like 2 or 3 things from 4.0, but otherwise it's new rules with 3.5. Because, I mean, there's a lot of things that you're already... Well,
Is
obviously,
it
you're going
pretty
to be...
much the same?
No.
No.
It's...
But I just learned 3.5 for
Here's
a
the
year.
thing, though. It's different,
3
but at the
years.
same time, it's very familiar.
Okay.
It's not like trying.
Too.
It's not.
Pathfinders is 3.5, though.
It's not like trying to relearn a whole new game. It's still Dungeons and Dragons. It's
Okay.
very familiar feeling. It's just the rules are a little bit different.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
But they're not too different
I don't want
to,
know what?
like, a very confusing...
You know what my favorite thing was? Looking at the player's handbook, I was looking up the spells, and instead of like the sorcerer spells being like pages 99 through 145, it's just like, all right, these are your level 0 spells, these are your level 1 spells, level 2 spells, and it cuts it in like fourth. Like,
Yeah,
it's 1/4 of the total amount that you could have learned from 3.5. I think that's great.
And one big thing that I liked was from what I read, was they took a lot of the feat trees and they rolled them into one. You don't get as many feats as a character, but a lot of the feats have been condensed. Like I was telling you about power attack, cleave, and something else were all rolled into one.
Yeah.
I think you get like 4 or 5 feats per character ever.
It's called like
Heavy weapon,
it's
something, but
yeah.
it's basically power attack and cleave built into one. You know, all the 2-weapon fighting feats that goes into 2-weapon fighting. You know, all your, heavy weapon. Oh, it's power attack, cleave, and whirlwind go into 1 feat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they have.
It's called something like it's actually called something like combat expertise.
Yeah,
You
they
get
have
like
cut
half
the
the feats,
feat.
though.
Yeah, they have cut the feat list in half,
But added all the feats together.
but they've added a bunch of feats together.
Right.
Which kind of goes in with the comment that they've streamlined everything. Is there's not as much shit to wade through. You just kind of get into the game and go.
There is a lot of stuff to go through, especially the feat list. It's kind of like daunting when every single supplement book comes with its own little chapter of more feats. When you really mainly only need just the original feats from the first source book. But every supplement, it's like, oh, well, you've got these 3 new classes and just a couple feats that would fit them really nicely. It kind of seems like in 3.5 they were throwing feats around willy-nilly. I think it's kind of cool that they were combining feats, but as long as they do it good. But I feel like if you have power attack, Whirlwind should be so far away. It shouldn't be in the same place.
It's not something that you get right off the hand. It's something that you get when, like, it's just a feat that you have, and it's something you can build towards.
Okay.
But it is still the same feat. You
Yeah.
have the feat, but you're not strong enough to be able to do that yet.
If I remember correctly, there's level requirements to being able to do things within the feat itself.
It's a certain thing called your ability.
So
I think
might
it's
as
called
well
ability.
Call it what it is, like your skill tree.
It's like a skill tree, exactly.
But
You
only
start
certain
off
skills
you
level
start
up
off with
when you
3
level.
ability.
Okay.
You start off with 3 ability, and that's how good you are.
Okay.
Period. Like, that's how good you are with your skills. That's how good you are with your feats. That's how good you are, period. You have 3 ability. When you level up, your ability goes up with you. And the higher your ability is, the better chance you're going to have of hitting somebody. The better chance you're going to be able to do your skills better and things like that. That is how the rules in 5.0 work.
Well, it's just one
It's
of those things
all
where
around that one number.
I really feel like I'd want to play it. I don't want to be rounded
Yeah.
up to one number because as a person, when I get into the skin of a character, when I play
And there
I
are-
don't want to be one number. I want to be 15 points into actor because I'm a great actor. But I'm a horrible craftsman.
That's
Skills seem to be left alone for the most part.
no, skills have to do with your ability as well.
Well, no, I meant like the way he was talking is, from a role-playing aspect, skills seem to be pretty similar. I mean, they've changed a little bit, but not too much. That seems to be, from what I read, the one they left alone the most.
It's still off of the ability, though. You don't get to put points into your skills. It's just your ability versus...
Yeah, but that makes a little bit more sense compared to where, 3.5 was coming from for a while. I mean, you have to admit the skills in 3.5 were probably the most confusing thing right off the bat.
For the most part, yeah.
When you first start, yeah.
It's like you only get a certain amount of skill points, and you can only put so many skill points into a certain skill by a certain level.
It's very much just like, okay, this is really easy.
Yeah, I
Attack,
agree.
defend, I know how to do this. Reflex, fortitude, will, just like, okay, this all makes sense. Just like, and then welcome to the skills, where everything else in the
like-
game happens.
I have 23 acrobats. No, you're only level 1, so you only have 4 acrobatics.
But I
if
can
you were
totally...
trained by circus folk to be an incredible acrobat.
That's home ruling.
That's also
No,
the
that's
thing.
bonus to your skill. Anyways, we could talk about Dungeons and Dragons mechanics for an entire podcast. We
Hence
probably
why
shouldn't.
this is called the Roll2Pose podcast.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, speaking of which, we need to give props. Cody Peeler.
Yes.
Cody Peeler actually is the one who coined the term Roll2Pose.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I remember when he did it. He was kicking femurs on skeletons. And after he was done breaking like 5-10 femurs, he said Roll2Pose, and he just rolled them dice and got a 20. It didn't matter.
The most heroic pose ever, and he got extra experience for it because the stack is awesome like that.
Femur kicking is how you down
He is
skeletons.
a gracious dungeon master.
I was.
Oh, so speaking of which, I had this idea last night. I'll tell you about it later. Never mind.
Okay.
But you know that thing that the Hess stole, the crystal that
You mean that one thing that
Black
I
Diamond?
hate the Hest about?
the Black Diamond,
Yeah.
how he stole the crystal. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys about it later.
Yes, we'll talk about it later. We're gonna go ahead and start moving on. We're gonna start off we're going to go back to what we started off on, and we're gonna go with comic books again. Because we talked about X-Men and how much Fox sucks, but really, what I really want to talk about is Marvel is gonna be putting out new timeline comics, like a new timeline, kind of like what DC did with the New 52. David, you had more information on that.
Didn't we just
Yeah,
start the
we covered
podcast?
that to start
Yeah.
with.
Did we cover that?
Yeah,
we already covered
we
this.
totally did. That was
Okay,
like the first thing
but we
talked
didn't
about.
talk about the Fantastic Four or Green Lantern.
No,
Okay.
we did not.
Then in that case, I want to talk about the Fantastic Four trailer that came out A little bit of a teaser.
Oh, I
Little
didn't see
teaser,
it.
Taylor.
We're out.
You know, giving us the Disney flick.
I was gonna say that's the last beer.
Like always.
That's the last
The
beer.
Disney
Yeah, that's the last beer.
flick.
So how do you feel so far?
I'm still upset about, Johnny Storm being a black guy. But if they go how they did with Thor becoming a female, they go with Captain America, becoming Falcon.
Right.
I'm just tired of them taking so long to come out to the reasons why they're making these changes.
I have an idea. And it's a little strange, it's a little off the wall because we all know that Fantastic Four, the Storms are supposed to be siblings, right?
Yep.
Wait, I have a question before you go on. Are you guys talking about a comic or the
movie?
movies? Okay,
the movie that's
go.
coming out.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I have an idea, and it ruins two storylines, which is why I think it's the best way that they could go about this. If they're going to make him black, maybe he is her husband.
So Sue Storm's like that interracial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe Johnny Storm was Johnny Storm and she got married to him, so maybe that's why they both have the same last name. That's one thing. But then again, you're ruining the storyline of Mr. Fantastic and her. So you ruin two storylines. Fuck it. We'll do whatever we want. I think that it makes sense.
Well, that actually would make sense because Marvel has said that the cinematic universe is different from the comic universe. So they could do that.
But see, that's the one thing about the all new Marvel. They're going to be creating that timeline for these movies.
Yeah, they did say
that's why
that
it's becoming
the new timeline
mainstream.
was going to coincide with the
all the
cinematic
movies.
universe.
Yeah.
The thing that I thought when originally they said, all this stuff about the new Fantastic Four was maybe one of them was adopted.
Yeah.
Well,
So technically they could
that's
still be
okay.
siblings, but
That would be okay too, but
yeah.
the one thing that I read was Sue Storm's daddy was a scientist as well. And something happened, and so they adopted this black Johnny.
right.
So, but I do like the whole interracial dating thing. I'm all about that.
It's kind of. I know you are. I just thought that would be
Them
kind of
snow
an
bunnies.
interest. I think that would be kind of an interesting twist if they were to do that. It would be completely ridiculous, but that would be hilarious. And I think if they were going to pull anything off, that would be hilarious.
Then they could have little.
And the thing needs
halfling
pants.
flames. Why does he need pants?
The thing needs pants.
Half red fire, half blue fire.
You don't want to see the thing sing.
Why not?
Because it's just,
But this begs the question, is the thing's
Good question.
penis made of orange rock?
Of course.
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never answered that in Mallrats. I want an
Of course
answer
it
to that
is.
question.
it has
is.
to be.
It is a rock boner.
Does he even have a penis?
So does
Yes.
that mean that
That's a
he's
good
hard at all
point.
times?
That's
He
a good
is
point.
still
He
human.
literally is
He
hard
was
at all
just
times. He's
blasted
made
by
out of
gamma
rocks.
rays, right? He would have the physical form of a human. Physical humans have wangs. He would have a rock wang.
Yeah, but what if it was
Rock cat.
rock to protect everything? Why would you want to have a dangly bits
But the
where
thing
you could
is,
just have
Because
a
that's
protective
like-
rock?
because
That's
you're a
like an
human.
extra 1d6
if you're a
maze.
human and you got covered in rock bits, you'd get rock bits on your wang. That's
No,
how it
I would
works.
rather have a rock
I know what you want.
No,
but this is
seriously.
what you're getting.
Yo, check it out. If you were a being made out of rocks, you wouldn't be wearing that little piece of jeans he has all the time, right? He'd be
I
completely
would
naked.
totally wear pants.
No, he would have his
I don't
rock
want my
dong,
shit flopping
and he would
around
turn around
everywhere.
real fast
But
and
it's
he'd
made of
knock
rock.
out enemies with his big wang.
He's
was
the
gonna
thing.
say-
He can just flick somebody in the temple and he
Flick them
freaking
with
knocks.
his
I know, but it's like his offhand weapon.
So
He turns around, his dick hits you in the face, you get knocked out.
since we've covered that he's always hard, what happens when he actually gets a giant rock boner?
It turns iron.
Thank you. This is where I was trying to go with this.
Or it looks like one of them totem heads on Easter Island.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
One of
it's
the
just like,
one of the unanswered mysteries of the world. Where do we come from? Where are we going? And what does the thing's dick look like?
Oh my god.
One last thing before we do final things.
I'm glad we get to answer the news.
Yeah. Green Lantern. Tyrese Gibson?
Thank God.
Yep, Gibson.
Tyrese
boy.
Gibson. Baby boy?
So I have a small problem with that because all of his previous roles have been these gangster, thug, softy guys, you know. And to me, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, is an uptight ass black guy who was a Marine.
Yes.
If he can pull that role off in a serious manner, I don't care what he did in Transformers, because he was
silly in that too.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the only movies I've seen him in was Fast and the Furious, Four Brothers, and Transformers, and he basically played the same guy in all.
Exactly.
He's the same
Now,
guy.
he's got the look, the bald head with the goatee. I dig it. I've been seeing pictures of it online that people have been making.
So have I.
It looks good.
It looks great.
I think he could do it if he can actually, act the part.
Exactly. Because they've already ruined the first Green Lantern movie. It doesn't
Horrible.
exist.
And that pisses me off because the one DC,
That's the thing, though.
license that I actually like is the Green Lantern universe.
Mm.
And I left the theater absolutely furious when I saw that movie.
Ryan Reynolds.
I feel bad
that's-
for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's not saying anything
too.
against Ryan Reynolds. That was just a bad movie. He actually did halfway decent for that movie, but that movie just sucked.
No, he played a shitty role in a shitty movie, but no, he played a good role in a shitty movie.
Yeah.
Like, Ryan Reynolds is a great actor. It's just the writing to that movie was awful.
was
Yeah,
horrid.
Hal Jordan being too afraid to do what he's supposed to do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The first human Green Lantern of will, and he's too afraid to fight something. Really?
I really want to see a Red Lantern.
But anyway,
That's actually where I was
Tyrese?
hoping they were going to
Tyrese
go,
Gibson.
but I don't
Tyrese
think we'll ever
Gibson,
see it.
I think he'll be a good Green Lantern because he's an actor. Like,
Yeah,
he's
but he was an
ghetto shit
R&B
before, but-
artist before he was an actor.
All right, well,
We just kind of covered
obviously-
he's
okay.
played the same role
Yeah,
4 or 5 times.
yeah.
it's gonna go one of two ways. It's either gonna be a ghetto Green Lantern or it's going to be his best acting.
If it's Hood Green Lantern, I'm done.
I agree with that 100%. If he comes into this and it's all of a sudden, Jon Stewart from the Hood, I'm done.
Yeah.
Hood Lantern is not a good idea.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Don't be a menace while drinking gin and juice and wearing your Green Lantern ring in the hood.
That was a whole lot of words.
Really?
You
Really?
went Wayne's brother with it.
I went Wayne's Brothers with it.
Nice.
Okay.
Did you guys know that Jamie Foxx is a Wayne's brother?
And on that note,
These are the things that Alex
Anyways,
Breaking news!
so to finish it out, we're gonna do some ratings because Stephanie actually finished, or Ibby finally finished some comic books. The Umbrella Academy, and what was the other one?
Hang on. What is? It's a long. It's
The
called The
Killjoys.
True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys.
Okay.
Both series are Gerard Way, written by Gerard Way, and they remind me a lot of The Watchmen,
Okay.
like Alan Moore type
Right.
writing. So the rating I give is, I don't know. I want to say 10 out of 10. Or wait, are we
that
doing out of 20?
Whoa.
Sorry.
Ah.
19.
So it's a crit. Okay. So it's
Still
not
a crit. Wouldn't it be? Uncertain.
Depends on
Depends on what
the,
you're
If you
critically.
have improved critical attack.
No crit.
Depends on the feats you have.
No feats.
No,
No
but,
weapons. No crit.
All right.
Are we gonna have this be a prelude to things we're gonna be talking about next time?
Wait, I give it a 20.
really, it's
Yeah.
that good.
It's so
You
good. I
it
can't
was-
wait for the third Umbrella Academy, which comes out hopefully this year.
Okay.
That was 2 books so far.
Okay. So the Killjoys was that good.
No. I'm talking the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, okay.
The Killjoys, I'd give it a 19. It is based off of their last album, As My Chemical Romance, because that band is no more. But and then the fun part is to listen to that album because you've read the book,
Right.
and there's songs based around everybody in that book, so it's really cool.
Okay, so it's kind of like one of those. if you watch the movie while listening to the album, it's like, whoa.
No way.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. It's
No.
not on the level of Pink Floyd,
Okay.
but
No, it's like. Anyways, I could compare it to Coheed and Cambria, but it's not even the same. Like,
I don't know. Coheed
No.
did a
no,
very
Gerard
good
Way's
job.
comics are really good.
They did a very good job of storytelling.
It's
Coheed.
No, they didn't.
Coheed?
Yeah, the comic books were a great story, and then their CD was something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the Code and Cambria fucking comic books were great, and then they're just like, we're gonna make a whole fucking concept album based around this CD, or based around these comics, and it's just like, no, you became pop idols. But from what I've heard from Stephanie,
it's not really.
This is pretty
I mean,
funny
it
because I
is-
like one Coheed song.
No, it is concept album, but it's not. It's not bad. I don't know what to say. Like, it's really,
it's not bad.
really
No,
amazing.
but it is really good. Like,
Is it better when you match it with the music, or is it just a good
I'd
read?
say, the read by itself, amazing. And then I actually had heard the album way more times before reading it, and now when I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why they did that.
Okay.
So, like, I don't
It's
know.
just an extra little.
Yeah, like, for example,
Kicker.
there
No.
is...
So what
It's
you're
really good
saying
because,
is
like-
it's a good standalone. Like the album is good by itself.
Yeah,
The comics are
they
good by
are
themselves.
good by themselves.
and you see them
But then-
together, they're better. And they even make 2 music videos that are, like, in relation to the comic
Yeah,
books.
and the music
Okay.
videos actually are the past. So the comic is the present.
I
And
see.
so if you had never watched those music videos, you would be like, I don't know what they're talking about. But if you saw the music videos, you'd be like, wow, that's really crazy. Because the Killjoys, I mean, you already find out at the beginning of the comic book, they're already dead. Like,
Right.
it's a story about a little girl they try to save. And that's where it takes off. So it's
Okay.
really good. I think you would really, do you like The Watchmen?
Yeah.
Then you would really love it.
Okay.
His style of writing is like The Watchmen.
And his art is really good, too.
His art is
Like, I haven't actually read anything.
I've seen a lot of his artwork. It's out of
Phenomenal.
bounds.
the
Ridiculous.
color in it is just awesome. It's really good.
Well, anyways, we're out of time, so thank you very much for the ratings on the Umbrella Academy and the Killjoys. It sounds like a really, really cool read.
Yeah, I might actually have to check that out.
But anyways, that was the Roll2Pose podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel and all that good stuff. Expect to hear a lot from us. Again, we'll be back next week with another podcast. And
Don't forget to pull out.
Yeah, boners.
Mid-boners.
but anyways, have a good night and thanks for listening.
Boner.
The future is bulletproof. The aftermath is secondary. It's time to do it now and do it loud. Killjoys, make some noise. Drugs, give me drugs. I don't need it, but sell what you got. Take the cash and I'll keep it. 8 legs to the wall. Hit the gas, yell 'em out. Every crawl, every crawl, every crawl. Two people detonator. Love, give me love, give me love. I don't need it, but I'll take what I want from Right now, all the way in Battery City, the little children raise their open, filthy palms like tiny daggers up to heaven. And all the juvie halls